Hey everyone, welcome to Crypto Data. So I just got a new mic. Let me know how it sounds, if it sounds better or worse than what I had before. I just had a laptop mic before, so I actually got a Yeti mic. So let me know how this sounds. But today we're going to be talking about Bitcoin futures. So they're actually launching in a little over 3 hours. So it's been the big topic a lot of people have been talking about. Some people are saying, they're going to everyone's going to short the market. Others are saying, we still may see a lot of investors come in. But the main consensus right now that everyone is saying is that big investors have been buying up Bitcoin so that they can short it whenever futures start trading. And then they can, gain all that profit, drive the price down, and then buy it back up again. So I'm going to give you my opinion of what I think about that and what I think is going to happen once futures trading starts. So this is a graph I have of Bitcoin. I'm going to go over this towards the end, but I basically drew a lot of support lines and resistance lines and just what I think could happen. So one of the first articles is one that was published by Forbes today. And basically what they talk about is, all of the volatility in Bitcoin and how, it's unclear how many people are going to allow their clients to trade Bitcoin futures. And then it's saying that they suspect that volumes will actually be small to start, and there will be a lot more sellers of the contract than buyers as a way to monetize the recent price appreciation, and despite the increasing publicity surrounding Bitcoin. So you can see here that they still think that, everyone's going to short Bitcoin once futures trading starts. There's another article here. It's by The Guardian, and it says, traders brace for Bitcoin futures launch after wild week for currency. So here it's saying that basically, there's going to be a lot of volatility in the market when futures start, and then they're saying that, they could see that it says, while some market participants are excited about a regulated way to bet on or hedge against moves in Bitcoin, others warn that risks remain for investors and possibly the clearing organizations underpinning the trades. So again, they're kind of creating that FUD about, other institutions underpinning the trades and taking advantage of everyone and potentially shorting the market. So they mention here, though, that there's actually some companies. It says Interactive Brokers, the US-based electronic brokerage firm, plans to offer its clients access to the first Bitcoin futures when trading goes live, but will bar them from assuming short positions and has margin requirements of at least 50%. So that's great news. You forget that sometimes these brokerage firms can actually, bar their clients from assuming short positions. So that could play into the whole fact that not everyone is going to be shorting futures. Who knows how many of these brokerage firms are doing this where they only allow their clients assuming long positions. So again, that could tie into the volatility. And it says several online brokerages such as Charles Schwab and TD Ameritrade will not allow trading of Bitcoin futures for now. And then JP Morgan and Citigroup will not immediately clear Bitcoin futures for trades, but Goldman Sachs is planning to clear Bitcoin futures for their clients. So you have these banks, some are allowing them, some aren't, but again, they're watching it closely. And I assume they're going to jump in pretty soon afterwards. So this was another article just explaining it. And then there's one more that I thought was pretty funny. Jim Cramer, if you know, he's one of the guys on Mad Money. This news organization in the US, and basically he talks about, what coins that he thinks is going to rise or fall, and sometimes he's right, but the majority of times he's wrong. So here he says Bitcoin is monopoly money, will get annihilated. So it says, I think the short selling is just going to annihilate people when you can start trading it. Once this thing starts trading the futures, they're going to kibosh it. You're going to see a lot of shenanigans. So he's spreading a lot of FUD. He's basically saying, they're going to rip Bitcoin apart. It's going to fall now and everything. And something that I've learned is a lot of times, if everyone's thinking one way, the other thing's going to happen. So I'll go over that more in a couple minutes. But it mentions here how a lot of people disagree with them and actually thinks that, Bitcoin is a store of value. And there's a lot of people around the world that see it, that see this value in Bitcoin and exchange it with volumes recently exceeding $15 billion, more than Apple, Google, and Microsoft's average daily trading in a day combined. So that tells you in itself that, you know, there's a lot of people supporting Bitcoin, and don't get caught up in all the FUD that people are spreading right now about it. So, and one last thing, actually last night, there's a show called SNL, Saturday Night Live, in the United States, and it's a real popular show, and they do a lot of skits. Either they make fun of stuff or, you know, basically what's trending, they'll talk about that. So this girl here, she was sitting next to Santa, and they're talking to her, and they're saying, what do you want for Christmas? And she says, I'm going to invest all my money in Bitcoin. So this was last night, I want to say about 14 hours ago, and we can see here that this is when that happened, and you saw that spike in Bitcoin. Now, I don't know if this whole candle from today was from that, but you know, there's definitely some appreciation. I was watching it, and you know, this shows you a lot more mainstream people are getting involved in Bitcoin, and it's spreading like wildfire. So I thought this was, you know, there's great publicity for Bitcoin. Basically, it opened it up and showed it, you know, to a lot of people, so it caught their interest. But so with all that, let's talk about exactly what is Bitcoin futures and how they work. Because I know people talk about it a lot, but they don't really go into the specifics of how it works and how it's going to be controlled. So basically, Bitcoin futures, they're going to be cash settled. So they're completely separate. So they're not actually, people aren't actually trading Bitcoin in these futures. It's cash settled, which means however, like the dollar amount that Bitcoin goes up or down, that's the profit or loss that you're going to gain or lose. So for example, these futures contracts, they're trading, so they include up to 4 weekly contracts a month into the future. There's 3 near-term monthly contracts up to 3 months in the future. And then there's quarterly contracts at 3-month intervals in March, June, September, and December. So basically, you buy one of these futures contracts. If you're going long, then that means, say, okay, I think Bitcoin's going to reach $20,000 by, let's say, in 4 weeks. So in 4 weeks, if, you know, Bitcoin is 20,000 or higher, then you were in the profit, and you can get Bitcoin for that amount, and then your profit is basically how much it's appreciated since you bought that futures contract. Same for shorting it. If you say, hey, I think Bitcoin's price is going to be $10,000 in a week, then, you know, if it goes down, however much it goes down, basically if it's 10,000 or lower, you know, you can make even more profit. So there's a lot of ways you can make profit with these futures contracts, but again, they are cash settled, so you aren't dealing directly in Bitcoin. It's just kind of like a horse betting contest. So that's just to clear some things up. And then there's margin requirements for it. So for example, you have to put up a certain percentage of your investments as a margin requirement. So for example, if you're going long on your futures contract, and then, you know, Bitcoin goes the opposite way and actually starts going down, then you have to keep a certain percentage of your money in there, and then they're going to take that away from you as kind of way of, you know, insurance policy for them, so that they're always going to get their money no matter what. So you have to be able to, you know, have some capital in there and be able to, you know, manage that risk in case it does go the opposite way. Now, they mentioned there's some actually stop limits in place in case the price of Bitcoin falls too much, or it rises too much. So it says the CBOE has said that trading will halt for a 2-minute period if the contract price moves more than 10% in either direction from the previous day's settlement price. So if the settlement price yesterday was $13,000 and the Bitcoin moves up, you know, to say more than $14,300 the next day, then they are going to halt trading for a 2-minute period. And this is to prevent, you know, even maybe short-term pumps or something from certain groups. So, and then it'll continue trading after that. And then a 5-minute halt will apply in the event of a 20% move. So regardless, just 20%, then, you know, they'll hold it for 5 minutes to get everything situated, and then they'll continue trading again. So I thought, you know, this was pretty good. It's just a way to control in case, you know, there's a lot of big investment firms that are trying to manipulate the market. They have these halts in place just in case that happens. And it says the trading hours. So it's 8:30 a.m. to 3:15 p.m. Central Standard Time, Monday through Friday. And then they also have extended hours on weekdays from 3:30 p.m. to 8:30 a.m. And then as well as 5 p.m. Sunday afternoon, which is today, through 8:30 a.m. on Monday morning. So it's so it offers nearly, you know, continuous trading over the 5-day period. And so I think that's great, you know, just contributes to you know, just whenever you're available, you'll be able to trade these futures contracts. Now, but in order to buy them, you need to have a futures account with your broker. And so, you know, not just anyone can get them, but still there's going to be a lot of people getting into these. And then, so that's basically the specifics of it. You know, hopefully that helped a little from people that were, you know, wondering what futures were. But going back to my opinion and what I think is going to happen to Bitcoin. So again, I mentioned that it's, you know, usually right now it seems like everyone is bearish on the futures. So everyone thinks the price of Bitcoin is going to go down. And, you know, and then the big investment firms are going to take advantage of this. And while in a sense this is true, I've talked to a lot of people who have quite a lot of capital, and they're mentioning that, you know, they're going long for it. So there's going to be a war between whether the price of Bitcoin appreciates or depreciates once future starts. And I believe that maybe in the short term, like, you know, for a day, the price may go down a little, but I still see a lot of big investment firms buying into this and take advantage and kind of having like a short squeeze where a lot of buying comes in when a lot of people are going short, and then those margin calls are hit, and then basically people are, you know, forced to who are short Bitcoin, they're forced to buy back Bitcoin at a higher price because their short isn't working, and basically this caused the Bitcoin price to go even higher, and then it just appreciates like crazy after that. So I can definitely see that happening because so many people are thinking it's going to fall, and just everything I've noticed is it's usually the opposite of what people think. So this same thing happened whenever the price of Bitcoin hit 10,000. Everyone thought, hey, it's going to tank. And while it did in the very short term, I believe to $8,000, it appreciated, you know, pretty much a couple hours after that, over 10,000, blew to 11,000. And that's because, you know, a lot of people are buying the dips now more than they were before. So I think it's definitely, you know, something to keep in mind. And again, you know, a lot of these brokerage firms aren't letting their clients short Bitcoin futures. So that plays into it as well. So a lot of people are going to be still going long. So there's definitely going to be a battle between whether Bitcoin rises or falls. And I think it's, you know, going to be interesting to see, I mean, in 3 hours, what happens. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on that. But again, there's a lot of volatility right now. So I know a lot of people aren't really touching Bitcoin or any coins right now. I'm personally still in Bitcoin. Because, you know, I'm in it for the long term, and I still see it can go over 20,000 by the end of the year. I haven't changed that stance. But again, you know, it's with all this volatility, be careful being in altcoins, because whenever Bitcoin's doing these crazy moves, you know, you never know what's going to happen with altcoins. So again, watch out for that. But this graph that I drew, basically I drew this support about $11,600, and then this previous resistance at $16,900. So, and then you can see here it has a symmetrical triangle going on, and it was trading in this triangle here, and we can see that, you know, if it breaks over here, it's going to have a breakout. If it falls below this, then we'll see it go back down to the support. So you can see actually right now it's starting to break out. It's 15,590, and it's almost breaking out of this this triangle right here. So we could potentially see it right now go all the way up to 16,900. And if it breaks that, then it's going to go even higher. So we can see it testing previous all-time highs. So again, keep an eye on this. You know, this is a channel. This is on a 4-hour chart. So if we go to 1 hour, then we can see it's a little more prominent here. You know, you can really see the trading range that it's been in. And again, you can see it starting to break out here. So keep an eye on this. You know, if it breaks out of this little symmetrical triangle, then we could definitely see some move to the upside here. So then you can see the RSI in this 1 hour. It's still getting a little overbought right now. It's still not out of that range where it's going to have a big correction. But again, keep an eye. This is still getting into that overbought territory. So keep an eye on that. Looking at the 4 hour, I think it's a little less prominent here. So it still has some room to grow on this 4 hour. So we could see it actually go all the way up to the 16,900 and possibly break that. So keep an eye on that. You know, it's anyone's guess what happens with Bitcoin futures. But again, if it does dip down, I mean, you know, these levels here, these previous support, 11,600, great level to buy it at. And then a really other strong support was about 9,000. a little bit higher, 9,200. So again, there's going to be a lot of volatility today, and you know, I mean, don't be afraid to buy the dips, because there's going to be a lot of FUD being spread and a lot of people saying that, hey, it's the end of the world, you know, it's Bitcoin's going down because of futures. And while that could be true, I mean, futures is positive for Bitcoin because there's all kinds of investors coming into it. So I don't really see it being a negative towards Bitcoin. It's just, you know, just that short-term market manipulation. People automatically go to, oh, it's Bitcoin's futures fault. But I really think that, you know, it'll help Bitcoin. There's going to be a lot more people investing in it. And yeah, we'll definitely see it, you know, hit over that 20,000 mark very soon. So with that, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, comment if you have any questions, and please subscribe if you haven't. Once I get to 1,000 subscribers, you know, I'm gonna do a giveaway of $50 worth of Bitcoin to 2 random people. So again, you know, I'm trying to give back to the community. I hope I helped you out, and till next time, thanks for watching.